Oh, you're on. It's good to see you. My name's Bahp Dizzle, and I'm doing a video for Teen Action Night for all the really good young people in Buffalo, New York at the Bread of Life. And today, I have a really good friend of mine with me. His name is Michael Cardboard Jordan, okay? And what I'm gonna talk about is commitment and loyalty. And I'm gonna ask Michael Cardboard Jordan a few questions about his time as a professional cardboard basketball player in the Cardboard Basketball Association. So, Michael, you've won some championships. I think like 6 championships altogether, and 6 MVPs. And I mean, he's been a star. I mean, some people say he's the greatest of all time, and there's other people like Kobe. Sad story. Kobe is, we believe in heaven. Kobe was a great basketball player, but Kobe and Michael had some stuff in common. Both of them played their entire careers with one team. And that to me is like loyalty to a team. That's commitment to a team. Both of their teams, whether it was the Lakers or the Bulls, they had some good times and they had some bad times. So ask Michael a couple of questions here. Michael, you stayed with one team your whole career. What does loyalty and commitment work to you?
Well, Bob, we had some good teams, we've had some bad times, but when you're committed to someone, you stick with them through good times and bads. You help them through the bad times. You're loyal to people. You don't walk out on them just because tough stuff is hard, So I just believe in loyalty and commitment.
Well, thank you, Michael. Michael, you've won a lot of games, a lot of championships, and you've taken some game-winning shots, and you've missed a lot of game-winning shots. So can you tell us, Michael, what was one of the hardest things that you ever had to go through, the hardest game, the toughest opponent, and tell us about that.
Well, Bob, the first thing that comes to mind is we played up in Buffalo at one time against the Buffalo Cardboard Braves, and there was this guy. He was a power cardboard forward. His name was Bahp Dizzle, and the one time, it was kind of humiliating, and I hesitate and I pause, but the guy came and dunked a rubber chicken over my head.
Well, he missed on that dunk. But anyway, what I want to tell you about today is about loyalty and commitment. And like Michael, he missed some game-winning shots. Bahp Dizzle missed some rubber chicken dunks. But hey, that's life. In the Bible, there's this story of a lady called Ruth. Okay, so let me set this up for you real quick. So in the beginning, before Ruth even knew these people, probably was even born, there was Naomi and Elimelech. There's some words in the Bible I love to say because the way they roll off of your tongue, it's like your tongue's going on a mountain in a valley. Elimelech. So where they lived in Bethlehem and in Judah, there was a famine, meaning the food wasn't growing, the crops were bad, there was no money, unemployment was high, and really bad stuff. So they left for greener pastures in a place called Moab. I don't think it was that great of a move, but God takes all things and makes them work together for good for those that believe in Him and are called according to His purpose. You'll find that in the book of Romans. But you see, what happened was they go to the land of Moab. Moab is not really friendly with the Israelites. It's kind of like an adversary, not really following God. So Elimelech and Naomi, they go there. They have 2 young boys. Boys get older, they get married. They get married to 2 ladies called Orpah and Ruth. Now it's Orpah, not Oprah, okay, because she's still not here, okay, it's Orpah. So Elimelech and Naomi had 2 boys. They married the 2 ladies I told you about, Orpah and Ruth. So all of a sudden, Elimelech dies, okay? He gets cooked, he bites the dust, he's no longer around. Death is hard. It's really tough to lose somebody. But not only that, Naomi loses her husband, then the 2 boys check out. So it's like, check this out. You got 3 guys, the closest guys to you, your son, 2 sons and a husband, and they die. So now Naomi is sad. She decides, and she hears that God has made Bethlehem prosper once again. So she's gonna go back. So she tells the 2 ladies, first they start going with her. Orpah and Ruth start going with Naomi. So Naomi turns to them and says, you know what, why don't you stay with your people? I can't give you 2 more sons, and even if I could, by the time they get old enough to marry you, you'd be a couple of old, well, never mind what they be. So anyway, the one Orpah says, oh, okay, she kisses her and cries, and they leave. But Ruthie is committed. Ruthie is loyal. Let me read you what it says in my great big print Bible. It says, I'm in chapter 1. I'm going to start in Ruth in, let's say 14. So here's this mother-in-law, talking to her two daughter-in-laws, about to say, hey, sayonara, check out, leave me, because I'm so sad, I'm so bitter, and I'm going to leave you. You guys should leave. It says, again, they wept loudly, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. Naomi said, look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her God. Follow your sister-in-law. But Ruth replied, yeah. She says, do not persuade me to leave you or go back and not follow you. For wherever you go, I will go. And wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May Yahweh punish me to do so severely if anything but death separates you and me. When Naomi saw that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped trying to persuade her. So, and then it's what it says here. So you can read it for yourself, because it's like really, really big. Wait, it looks like backwards to me. Anyway, so what happens to the end of the story? Now these are poor ladies. They got no money. So they go back to Judah, back to Bethlehem, and what Naomi tells Ruth to do, go out into the field of the rich people where they got lots of stuff, and you are to glean the seeds that they're left over. So what these people were commanded to do when they were harvesting the crops, they would purposely leave some stuff left over for poor people. It's kind of like, almost like today's world. You can get food stamps, social assistance, and welfare and all that. It's good to get help when you need it, but you don't stay there, okay? Some people get used to the things they get, and they miss a lot bigger things that God has for them. So Ruthie does whatever Naomi tells her to do. She's loyal, she's committed to her mother-in-law. So all of a sudden, they find out that the guy who owns the field, his name is Boaz. Now, he's one of my favorite characters in the Bible, because it's like the first two letters of his name, first two letters of my name. You know, I'm a Bob, he's a Boaz. So there ain't no Bobs in the Bible, so I got a Boaz. I'm a camp out there. So he's a rich guy. He sees what Ruthie is doing, so he tells his people to leave some more for her. So then he talks to her, and he says, I've heard about you. I've heard about your commitment. I've heard about your loyalty. When you have commitment and loyalty to people, other people hear about it. Your character is broadcast by other people. So your reputation is important. You're going to stick with somebody, or you're going to check out in hard times. Commitment and loyalty. So what happens, Naomi tells her, hey, listen, I want you to go get all dolled up and cleaned up and look really nice. I want you to go to the threshing floor. So the threshing floor is a place where they would protect everything and keep everything. Like they would, threshing means to take the wheat, and almost like sometimes you would throw it up in the air, and the heavier stuff would fall to the ground, and the chaff or the waste of the wheat would fly away in the wind. Or they would use cow. Cattles is more than one cow. Cows. Okay, this is in an English lesson. So anyway, the cows would like go around in a circle. They would tramp on the seed, separating it, separate the seed from the chaff, or the wheat from the chaff, separating the good from the bad. There's a lesson there. So anyway, Naomi tells Ruth, go get all set, go get nice, make yourself smell pretty, clean, you know. So she goes and sleeps at his feet. He wakes up and he's like, who is this? Now, by the way, they would sleep on a threshing floor because people would come and steal what was most valuable to you. So what you would do is you would sleep and protect what was most valuable. Kind of like the way a husband and a wife sleep together. They sleep together because they're most valuable to each other. God is first, wifey is second. That's for a husband like me. And for my wifey, I'm second, and Jesus is first. Valuable. That's the way it should be. So all of a sudden, Boaz wakes up. He's what's called a kinsman redeemer. When you redeem something, it's like you buy it back, usually from a bad place. It's like when we're sinners and we feel sorry, we repent, which means to change our ways. We feel bad and we change and we give it to God. He redeems us from the pit of sin that we were in. So this is a kinsman redeemer. So back in those days, the kinsman redeemer would marry a widow and give her children to carry on the husband's name, and so that she wouldn't just sit there and there's a process here. and you'll find actually that Jesus came through this. But that's another story. So anyway, it turns out Boaz is an honorable man. He finds out that there's a closer kinsman redeemer, so he goes to the town and he tells people, hey, listen, this guy, I don't know what his name was, he says, you're a closer kinsman redeemer than I. If you want her, you can have her. Anyway, so the guy says, no, I gotta protect my inheritance, you can have her. So they kind of like take shoes off. That's the way they would like seal the deal back then. Boaz marries Ruthie. So let me just recap this thing. Ruthie is in a bad place, loses her husband, things are bad. She's with a mother-in-law who ain't got no money, but Ruthie is committed and loyal in spite of no money, no relationship. She just believes, and she says, your God will be my God. So anyway, that's pretty cool. So on behalf of Michael Cardboard Jordan and Bahp Dizzle, who dunks rubber chickens over the top. Okay, well, that's all we got for today. Jesus loves you, and so do we.